Hello. Good morning to all. So good morning to all. So in the last class and the previous class we have seen the different types of errors. So major types of errors are gross errors, systematic errors, random errors. So systematic errors are again classified into three types: instrumental errors, environmental errors, observational errors. Okay, and environment. So observational errors. So the main error caused by the observation errors is parallax error. Parallax error. So due to observing the meters from uh, from different places, we can get these parallax errors. So we have to get the perfect value. To get perfect value, we have to observe to the straight to the pointer. Then only we get the uh, proper value, correct value, correct reading or correct value. And so the next type of the error is random errors. Random errors. Random errors. These are also called as residual errors. These are also called as residual errors. While doing experiment, the results shows variations from one reading to another. That is generally will occur. So some variations will be occur from one reading to another reading. But the quantity being measured is affected by many factors which are aware of and unaware. So the quantity which is to measure is affected by many factors, and those factors we may know or we may aware or we may unaware. Okay, so aware means we know that that factor may be due to systematic error, that factor may be instrumental error, that factor may be gross errors, or that factor may be observation errors. Okay, so these errors we can avoid because of this reason, because of this effect. There is some variations are occurred, but we have some unaware factors also involved while measuring a quantity using an instrument or measurement system. So those the happenings or disturbances about which we are unaware or lumped together are called as random or residual errors. So here the happenings. So disturbances which are happening, those disturbances we also don't know. So we also don't know how these disturbances will affect. Okay, and which are and those disturbances we are unaware, and those are all are lumped together. So combined we can call as random. So sudden variations, sudden changes may occur. So you do not you may not aware of that one. Okay, hence the errors caused by these happenings or these sudden unaware or sudden disturbances, and those errors are called as random errors or residual errors. Residual errors. Since these errors remain present, even systematic errors are taken care. We call these errors are residual errors. Okay. So we are observing. We are also knowing that systematic errors also we are considering. So even the considering the systematic errors, there are some errors will be present, and those errors are called as residual errors. Residual by virtue of its constructions, and there are due to some variations in the measuring area, so there are some residual errors will be present, and these are also called as random errors. Okay, so up to now we are seeing um, errors in measurements. Errors in measurements. While measuring, what are different types of errors will occur? Those are observed in the last class and up to now. And coming to the next topic is dynamic characteristics of an instrument. So in the uh, uh, first lesson, so we are seeing about the static characteristics of an instrument. So the performance of measurement system can be identified by two types of characteristics. Already we have discussed. One is static characteristics and another one is dynamic characteristics. Static characteristics and dynamic characteristics of an instrument. So here the dynamic characteristics of an instrument. So whereas considering the static characteristics, Static means that variable does not change with respect to time. So that is static. It is constant. It will not change. Or we can also consider very slow variation, very small change or small variation. Also, we can consider it as a static. So whereas dynamic characteristics are, say, the parameters are changing continuously with respect to time, dynamically changes. Okay, so the parameters which are changing with respect to time is called as dynamic, and the response or the value which is obtained by the instrument will be considered as the dynamic response. The response which is obtained from the instrument or measuring system will be considered as the dynamic response, and that instrument having characteristics, those characteristics will be dynamic characteristics. We can say is dynamic characteristics. So the measurement systems in industrial, aerospace and biological applications are subjected to inputs which are not static but are dynamic in nature. That is, the input vary with time. Suppose you may consider that in the aerospace, so the aeroplane will be produces the signals to um, nearby station, and it will receive the signals by nearby station. Okay, in such situation, so depending upon the environmental conditions, it will continuously receive the signal, and similarly, the depending upon the status of the aeroplane, the pilot will be sends the signals to the nearby station. So there is no static signals. So that signals maybe changes continuously. So the depending upon the conditions, weather conditions, so the pilot sends the signals. Uh, so like that, we may not expect that the variable is constant, or suppose the wind velocity is suddenly increased. So due to that, the speed of the aeroplane maybe changes. So that sudden changes and the parameters will be changes continuously. And similarly, in biological application also. So in this case also, so there is a sudden variations may be occurred. BP sudden rise or BP sudden down, and sugar percentage maybe increases or decreases. Like that, we have sudden changes. These variables are not constant, and in industry also number of parameters will be there: temperatures, pressure. Suppose any blockage will be occurred in the process, the temperature suddenly rises, pressure will be increases. uh, Similarly, the water content in the tanks will be changes due to sudden changes or sudden disturbances, and these parameters are not constant at all, so those will be changes continuously with respect to time. So in such situation, how the measurement system will be behaves. So what basis what are the factors we will consider so to measure those variables? That will be shows the dynamic characteristics of an instrument. So coming to here, so the measurement systems are in these applications are subjected to inputs which are not static. They will be changes continuously, but a dynamic input, dynamic nature. So we cannot expect how it will be increases. So dynamically changes. Suppose the suddenly rise and suddenly falls, and suppose the parameter may be linearly increases. The parameter may be changes as a linear fashion, or it may be changes sudden step change. We may another sudden step change. So suddenly increases and stays there, and it may suddenly step down. And also, so we have some sinusoidal nature. These inputs may have sinusoidal nature also, and parabolic nature. So the signal suddenly changes as a parabolic way. So like this, these inputs are nature is dynamic. We cannot expect that this variable will be changes in this way, or these are will be changed in a particular manner. So for that purpose, first of all, we will experience an instrument, a calibration. So first of all, um, the instrument will be calibrated with all we said. Now the what are the different types of signals? Those are called as test signals. The unit step signal, unit ramp signal, you can say it is a linear signal, unit parabolic signal, and unit sinusoidal signal. So when these signals are will apply to those instruments, and we will obtain the response. How the instrument is responding to these test signals. The test signals are impulse. Impulse is also one of the test signal. So sudden impulse signal, sudden high magnitude will apply. Impulse signal, unit impulse you can say, unit step signal, unit ramp signal, unit parabolic signal, and sinusoidal signal. So with this test signals, we will apply to the measurement system. So and check the response, how the instrument is responding to these test signals, whether it is obtaining proper output for the all these test signals, we can use in the real time applications. Okay, before applying to real time applications, first of all we will calibrate the system, and also we will check the response by using the test signals. Okay, so with this, after obtaining the satisfied response from the instrument, we can apply, we can use it to measure in the real time applications. Okay, so if the input varies from instant to instant, the output of the system also varies or changes. If the input is changing from one point to another point, in such situation also the output also changes. So under such conditions, the behavior of the system is described as its dynamic response. Okay, so output is also changes, and so under such conditions, the behavior of the system is described by its dynamic nature. So how we can identify the response, whether it is properly obtaining or not? So by knowing the dynamic response, we can say is the system is operating in the proper conditions. Okay. So coming to what are the different types of characteristics? Okay, so coming to the dynamic characteristics. So the following are the dynamic characteristics of measurement system. So speed of response, measuring lag, fidelity, and dynamic error. So these are four types of dynamic characteristics. So based upon these characteristics, we can identify the value which is obtained is properly or not. So for a measurement system, the speed of response, fidelity characteristics are desirable. For a measurement system, speed of response and fidelity, these should be desirable. So it should be having high values. And whereas measurement lag and dynamic error, these are undesirable. These two are measurement lag and dynamic error. These two should be undesirable. So these values should be make less, should be reduced. Okay. So coming to the first one, speed of response. So it is defined as the rapidity with which the measurement system responds to changes in the measured quantity. So speed of response, how much the measurement system is responding, how fast it is, how quickly, how rapidly the measurement system responds to changes in the measured quantity. So measured quantity here, it is the input which is applied to the measurement system. So how fast the measurement system is responding, how quickly it is responding to the changes in the input. So that will be considered the speed of response. So it is defined as the rapidity with which the measurement system responds to changes in the measured quantity. Okay. Next, coming to measuring lag. So it is a retardation or delay in the response of the measurement system to changes in the measured quantity. So lag means, so there is some lag means it is a type of a delay. So retardation means, so there is a more amount of the it maybe goes to downside. So you can say it is a acceleration and retardation. So it may be very small delay. You can say it is delay in the response of the measurement system to changes in the measured quantity. Okay, so that is a lag. The measuring lags are two types. We can say it is a lag or measuring lag or lag. So it may be you can call it as a measuring lag or lag. So the measuring lags are two types: retardation type and time delay type. So retardation type means, in this case, the response of the measurement system begins immediately after a change in the measured quantity has occurred. So in this case, the response of the measurement system begins immediately after a change in measured quantity has occurred. So suppose the measurement system will respond immediately. So after the measurement quantity is ready, okay, or changes immediately. And time delay is type. In this case, the response of the measurement system begins after a dead time after the application of the input. So in this case, what happens? The measurement system will respond after a certain amount of time. So after the application of the input, so after applying the input, so the measurement system does not respond immediately. So it will take certain amount of the time. So after certain time, so you can say it is a dead time. So after that, after the application of the input, so see here there is a figure. Here this is the output and this is the input. Okay, so output is nothing but the measurement system response. So when the input is changing up to this particular time delay, so the output is not responding up to the time delay. So this up to this point, the output is constant, not responded. Output or measurement system is not responded. So up to the input is up to this time. So up to that time, the output is constant, or in some cases you may say it is 0. So this is having some initial value, dead zone. You can say it is dead zone, and this is the time delay. And after that, the measurement system was responded. Of the input is changing this much of variation, the output is varied like this. Our measurement system is responded in this manner. So up to this point, the delay, time delay, so there is no output. There is no output or constant output. So that lag, we can say it is a time delay or lag, time lag, we can say is a time lag. Okay. So coming to next one is the fidelity. Fidelity is defined as degree to which a measurement system indicates changes in the measured quantity without any dynamic error. Dynamic error. So without any dynamic error, so how the system measurement system is indicating the changes without any error. So that is the fidelity. So whether it is system is responding properly or not. So that is the degree to which the measurement system indicates changes in the measured quantity. For changed input, there is a change in the output. So the measurement system is responding properly or not for the changing of the input. So that will be represents the fidelity. If the input is changing, the measurement system also produces the change of the output. Okay, how much degree will be responding, that indicates the fidelity, whether it is following or not, whether it is following the changes in the input or not. So that will is the uh, fidelity. Okay, and the next one is fidelity that without any dynamic error. Without any dynamic error is the main point here. So coming to dynamic error, it is difference between the true value of the quantity changing with time and the value indicated by the measurement system. If no static errors are assumed, it is also called as measurement error. So dynamic error and measurement error. So in this case, what happens? The difference between the true value of the quantity changing with the time and the value indicated by the measurement system. Okay, so the value, the measurement, the quantity value is changing with respect to time, and the value indicating by the instrument, and for that the difference should be 0. With respect to time changing in the input quantity, and the measuring instrument value should be matched, and that error should be small. Okay, the difference between the true value of the quantity changing with the time and the value indicated by the measurement system, these between these two values the error should be, the difference should be small. So then it is called as dynamic error, and it is also called as measurement error. So out of this, the speed of response and fidelity, those two should be high, and the uh, measuring lag and dynamic errors should be small. So then we can identify the variations, different input signals, how the response is changing, we can identify easily. Okay, so and with this, in the first unit we are completed the static characteristics, errors in measurements, and dynamic characteristics. Okay. And the next concepts are DC voltmeters. DC voltmeters. So range extension of DC voltmeters. So we will see that one. Basic meters, basic meters of the so this is the voltmeters and multimeters. So in this, the introduction part is having that. So the most commonly used DC meter is based on the fundamental principle of the motor. So the basic DC meter is works on the basic principle of motor. The motor action is produced by the flow of a small amount of current through a moving coil, which is positioned in a permanent magnet field. So, here we have a coil, and that coil is placed in between the magnetic field, permanent magnetic field, and the coil is supplied with some current, and with that we will get the basic, we will get the some movement. The motor action will be produced by a flow of small amount of current through the moving coil. So we will supply a current, a small amount of current through the moving coil, and that moving coil is positioned in a permanent magnetic field. And due to that, there is a moving system is obtained, that is called as d'Arsnoval movement. It is also referred to as the basic meter. The very fundamental meter is a basic meter, so which is simply a coil is placed in between permanent magnetic field, and that coil is supplied with some small amount of current. So that particular movement or particular element we will call it as a d'Arsnoval movement. D'Arsnoval movement, and also referred to as the basic meter. Okay, by using this basic meter, we will connect some, we will convert that basic meter into different types of meters. Generally, it is required to measure the current, it is required to measure the voltage, and it is required to measure the resistance. And in that again two categories: DC, AC. DC voltage, DC current, okay, and similarly AC voltage and AC current. Okay, so by using the basic meter, so d'Arsnoval galvanometer, by adding some elements to this basic meter, we will get instruments, measuring instruments we will get. See here, the basic meter movement becomes a DC instrument, with this we will measure the one DC parameters: DC voltage, DC current, and resistance. So measuring DC current, we will get the DC current. How we can measure? By adding a shunt resistance, forming a microammeter. A DC current, by adding a shunt resistance, forming a microammeter, a milliammeter or an ammeter. Okay, so for getting the current, we have to add a shunt to the meter. For basic meter, we will apply a shunt. Shunt means it is parallel resistor which is connected parallel to the DC meter, basic meter. So with that we will get the DC ammeter. So with that we can measure micro range. See here, microammeter. So that will become as a microammeter. With this microammeter we can measure the microamperes of the currents, and similarly we can measure the milliammeter by using milliamperes of the current by using milliammeter or an ammeter. So in terms of amps. So by using DC current meter and connecting a shunt resistance to the basic meter, we will get these meters. Similarly, we will get the DC we can measure the DC voltage. We can measure the DC voltage by adding a multiplier resistance, forming a millivoltmeter or voltmeter or kilovoltmeter. So this basic meter will be forms as a DC voltmeter and which measures the DC voltage. How it will measures? For basic meter, we will connect a multiplier resistance. Here, the resistance which is connected in series with the basic meter will be considered as a multiplier. In the previous case, it is shunt. The resistor which is connected in parallel with the basic meter will produce the current meter. With that, we can measure the DC current. For the measuring of the DC voltage, by using basic meter, we will connect a multiplier. That multiplier is nothing but resistance. This multiplier is connected in series with the basic meter. With that, we will get the DC voltmeter. We can measure the DC voltage. And by using that DC voltmeter, we can measure millivoltage, voltage, and kilovolts. So we can use that voltmeter as a millivoltmeter, voltmeter, and kilovoltmeter. So like this, we can produce the DC voltmeter. And similarly, we can also measure the resistance. We can also measure the resistance by adding a battery and resistor network, forming an ohm meter. For the basic meter, we will add a battery and a resistor network, and with that we will get an ohm meter. So ohm meter is used to measure the resistance, ohm meter, and voltmeter is used to measure the voltage. I know you may know that's this one. Okay, and this is DC instrument. And similarly, we can also get the AC instrument, AC measuring instruments. So for the basic meters, so we will connect a rectifier, forming a rectifier type of meter, and which will, by using that, we can measure the AC voltage or AC current. So we can measure AC voltage or AC current by adding a rectifier to the basic meter, and which we will call it as a rectifier type of meter for power and audio frequencies. Okay, and the next one is RF voltage or current. So we can measure the RF voltage and current by adding a thermocouple type, thermocouple. Okay, so in this to measure the RF voltage, we will add a thermocouple to the basic meter. Okay, so with that we will measure the RF frequency, radio frequency voltage, and similarly expanded scale for power line voltage. We can measure the scale of the power line voltage. Line voltage we can measure by adding a thermistor in a resistor bridge network, forming an expanded scale AC meter for power line monitoring. So power line monitoring. So power line monitoring means in our homes we have to monitor the line voltage, line currents, how much current is coming to our household purpose. So that currents and voltage will be monitored with this arrangement. Okay. So with this, by using, okay. So by using the D Arsenal movement or basic meter,